There is no defense or security for any of us, except in the highest intelligence and development of all.
Judge Thurgood Marshall said, "None of us got where we are solely by pulling ourselves up by our bootstraps. We got here because somebody, a parent, a teacher, an Ivy League crony, or a few nuns, bent down and helped us pick up our boots." Here are 8 stories of Huntsville educators who chose to lift up their community. Dr. William Hooper Council was born into slavery in Fayetteville, North Carolina, and was taken to Huntsville, Alabama by slave traders in 1857 at the age of 9. Council escaped his enslavers before the end of the Civil War, but returned to Stevenson, Alabama in 1865 to attend a school organized by the Freedmen's Bureau. Council's first enterprise as an educator was the Lincoln School, started in 1868, located near the borders of Madison and Limestone counties. In 1875, he organized Huntsville's Normal School, which evolved to become Alabama A&M University. He served as president of the school and was leader of the black community until his death in 1909. He authored 3 works: Negro Laborer, A Word to Him, Lamp of Wisdom, or A Race History Illustrated, and Future of the Negro. Dr. Joseph Fanning Drake was the 4th president of Alabama A&M University, serving for the years 1927 through 1962. A highly respected educator, Dr. Drake attended Talladega College and received his MA from Columbia Teachers College and a PhD from Cornell University. Drake has been praised as the builder and savior of Alabama A&M. He steered the school through the Great Depression, wars, financial hardships, and civil rights struggles. He not only kept the school open, but helped secure funding for numerous new buildings and helped promote growth in both staff and student population. Eva Beatrice Dykes was the first African-American woman to fulfill the requirements for a doctoral degree. But because Radcliffe held graduation later in the spring in 1921, she was the 3rd to graduate with a PhD overall. She joined the faculty of Oakwood University in 1944 and served as chair of the English department and the Division of Humanities. She taught at Oakwood for almost 4 decades. She was a talented pianist and organist, and she founded and named the school's choral group, the Aeolians. The Oakwood University Library is named in her honor. Delcina DeBerry was an educator, librarian, mother, pastor's wife, and a native of South Carolina who moved to Huntsville to care for her mother. Mrs. DeBerry was upset to learn that the city library was not easily accessible to African Americans. After conversations with librarian Elizabeth Parks Beamgard and the library director Hoyt Galvin, Mr. Galvin explained the possibility of opening a reading room for black citizens with the help of the Works Progress Administration. DeBerry and 2 high school boys cleaned out and prepared a room in the basement of the Lakeside Methodist Church, and the library opened on June 10, 1940. Mrs. DeBerry served as the librarian from 1940 until 1951, when she moved back to Raleigh. Dr. James Ira Dawson was an educator who served on the Huntsville City School Board for nearly 20 years. He was a native of Pike County and a veteran of World War II. He received an undergraduate degree from Alabama A&M, a master's from Tuskegee University, and a doctorate from Penn State. His career included work as a high school social science teacher, vocational agriculture teacher, and associate dean at Alabama A&M. He was elected to the city school board in 1988 and resigned in 2008. A city resolution which honored him in 2013 stated he was a voice of equality and justice for all, an outspoken champion for diversity. In 1972, Fletcher Selden was the first black person to campaign for and win an elected seat on the Huntsville City School Board. He served 9 years on the school board, including 2 terms as president. Fletcher was a native of Maryland and joined the Army in 1946 when he turned 18. He remained in the Army for 23 years and was involved in World War II, the Korean War, and the Vietnam War. He came to Huntsville in 1958 as a missile and electronics instructor at Redstone. He married Ruth Washington of Huntsville in 1959, and the couple had 6 children. He retired from the Army in 1969 and went on to work for Model Cities, a federal program which sought to improve living conditions in the heart of participating cities. He later became Community Relations Specialist at Marshall Space Flight Center. Clyde Foster was a native of Birmingham and a graduate of Alabama A&M in 1954. Foster worked as a mathematician technician for the Army Ballistic Missile Agency and transferred to NASA in 1960. His work with NASA resulted in many accomplishments. He helped organize NASA's first training program for African Americans. He worked to create a partnership with Alabama A&M in which he was the director of the Computer Science Department. This was the first such program in the state. Later, Foster was named Director of Equal Employment Opportunity Office at Marshall Space Flight Center. He retired from NASA in 1987. Clyde Foster also had many accomplishments outside of his work with NASA. He was instrumental in the restoration of the town charter of Triana and was appointed by the governor as mayor of Triana in 1964, a position he held until 1984. Foster also led the fight against a chemical company which poisoned waterways in Triana. The result of the legal battle was a $24 million settlement for Triana residents. State Representative Laura Hall received a bachelor's degree in biology from Morris College and a master's in science education from Ohio State University. She spent 33 years in education, including 25 at J.O. Johnson High School. She retired as assistant to the president for at-risk students and special projects at Calhoun Community College. She was elected to represent Alabama House District 19 in 1992, a position which she still holds. She currently serves on the following committees: Health, Internal Affairs, Madison County Legislation, Technology and Research, and Ways and Means General Fund. She also serves as chairperson of the Governor's Commission on AIDS and as chairperson of the Alabama House of Representatives Black Caucus.
There is no defense or security for any of us except in the highest intelligence and development of all. If anywhere there are efforts tending to curtail the fullest growth of the Negro, let these efforts be turned into stimulating, encouraging, and making him the most useful and intelligent citizen. Effort or means so invested will pay 1,000% interest. These efforts will be twice blessed, blessing him that gives and him that takes.